Hello everyone and welcome back. My name's dustinkreis, and today we're going to do a game discussion over this game right here, Soul Blazer for the Super Nintendo. And I was kind of in just a gaming funk. I know Laggy Gamer's been talking about it, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, I've been a zombie to Netflix. I've just been watching a bunch of stuff on there and just hadn't really felt playing a game. I just didn't feel like booting up any of these modern day games, and then I thought to myself, well, why don't I try a retro game? And boy, I'm sure glad I did that, because I absolutely love this game. Very, very, very fun, but at the same time, this is an early Super Nintendo game. And that being said, it is very, very simple. So if you can sort of suspend your modern day ambitions and go back to a simpler time, I think you'll have a really good time with this game. The game's world, you are an avatar sent down by the deity, the Master, to help save humanity from the evil death toll. And it's a very sort of traditional action RPG. There are some cool things about it. The magic system's a little weird. We'll talk about that in the gameplay. But yeah, I was actually really surprised by this. I really had a good time with it. Like I said, the storyline is very simple, though it's very well told for how simple it is. There's a nice little backstory to it with like Dr. Leo and why he summoned death toll and all that stuff. There's a little romantic subplot, very little, it really comes in towards the end of the game. But for an early RPG on the Super Nintendo, very, very impressed with it. I played this before on an emulator, and it was one of those situations where I lost my save state, and I just stopped playing it. So I eventually went out and bought a cartridge of it, and really glad I did that. So yeah, the storyline, very good, very simple, very early Super Nintendo. Same thing for the graphics and the music. It's not going to blow your socks off. There are some cool effects with like the clouds scrolling over top of the game world. Very bright and colorful, but not as bright and colorful as, say, the rest of the games in the series, like Illusion of Gaia and Terranigma. But a very interesting place to start off. The music, some of the tracks are pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. However, there are a couple tracks where I had to look up the composer, and as far as I can tell, the composer didn't really do much else game-wise after this. But there were some tracks that I could swear that I could hear like early shades of Chrono Trigger in. And so some tracks are really nice. Most of them are early Super Nintendo tracks that really just don't sound that great. As for the gameplay, this is tried and true action RPG. You run around with a sword, and you sort of, just hack and slash at monsters. The way the game world's presented is you're dropped down into this empty, like, just field. And you have to go explore this dungeon and fight monsters in order to unlock the parts of town that are missing. All these different parts of town and the people of the town have been sealed away by the monsters. And you have to fight these monsters, and then after you... there's basically these little glowing orbs. Kind of like a gauntlet. In Gauntlet, when they have like the monster spawns, and you can go up and destroy those. You can't attack these monster spawns. What you have to do is you have to kill all the monsters that come out of them, and then eventually they'll explode and leave a little switch for you to step on. Stepping on this switch, sometimes it'll unlock part of the dungeon you're in. Sometimes it will unlock part of the town you're trying to rebuild. And there's 6 of these worlds that you have to do this. And the game does not stray from this. So it's best to not play it, maybe do a world at a setting. Usually it only takes you like a couple hours to make it all the way through one of the worlds. And because if you do it like 3 or 4 worlds at a time, you might burn yourself out on it because the game is pretty repetitious. But yeah, you're going through these dungeons and unlocking the parts of town which help you find new weapons, armor, and items, and help you unlock other dungeons so you can finally go and beat the final boss of the stage and move on to the next world. Now, these boss battles are really simple. It's all pattern recognition with these bosses, you know. And when you start getting items that like boost your defense by half, and the power bracelet, which makes your sword swings even stronger, these bosses will fall really easy. If you have a guide to get you through this game is really friggin' easy. And I seem to remember back when I was playing on the emulator, I thought it was a lot harder than what it actually is. But the weird thing about this game is the magic system, which never fails, right? The dog. The magic system is you have this little orb orbiting you as you walk around the dungeon. Now, one of my favorite spells in the game is the light arrows, which it'll shoot out arrows in 4 directions, up, down, left, and right. The thing is, your brain wants to say those arrows are going to come out of your character because your character's casting the spell. No, it comes out of that orb that's circling around you. So there is some strategy involved with using the magic, especially with that spell, because when it shoots out, 4 directions, it could be above you, below you. You kind of have to wait for it to circle around to line up your shots. So the game would be even easier if it just came right out of your character, but by involving this orbiting circle that the magic comes out of, it makes the combat a little bit more, I don't want to say deep. Deep's not the right word, but just a little harder to master, I guess. And if it came out of the person and you're able to control it a little bit better, I don't think it would be... the combat wouldn't be as satisfying. It'd just be a simple hack and slash game. Which, I mean, it is a simple hack and slash game. The only other thing is you can use the L and R buttons to strafe. I'm assuming there's a really good use for this in the game. I never used it at all. So you really don't need to even pay attention to that to beat the game. But yeah, just kind of, sort of a short game discussion over kind of a simple game. I'm really looking forward to putting into... where is it now? Really looking forward to getting to Illusion of Gaia, which is the second part of the trilogy. And then, of course, getting to Terranigma, which is the third part. And then the Grand Stream Saga, which is the unofficial 4th part of the trilogy. It's starting to sound like Kevin Smith's New Jersey trilogy, which now consists of like 6 movies. So... but yes, Soul Blazer. If you guys can track down a copy, I know the carts, I think they're kind of expensive. I want to say in the 30s, the 40s. Maybe they've dropped, I don't know. Pretty sure you can find this on the Virtual Console. But definitely give it a shot. Give some old school RPG actions a shot here. So that is it for this. I really enjoyed this game. Really recommend people looking it up to see just sort of the history of the action RPG genre. So I don't know what I'm going to play next. I started up Class of Heroes 2. I got my download code, downloaded it on my Vita. Been enjoying that, but it's not really grabbed me yet. So it might take me a little bit more to get into it. And then I kind of want to get back to Persona 4. Because otherwise I'm just going to completely drop it, and I think people will like lynch me if I don't finish that game. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. Maybe just put in some shmups and kind of veg out to that. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.